to the program of Discipline Talk. In this video, we are going to learn about Buddhist education, its features, aims, process of education, women education during a Buddhist period, and also we will know about a curriculum and methods of teaching. So this topic is important from our exam point of view. Let's start without any wastage of time. Buddhist education, the monasteries were the centers of education during the Buddhist period. Besides monasteries, there were no other organizations for imparting education. Only the Buddhists could receive religious and other types of education. Other persons were deprived of this facility. There was no place for yajna. Yajna, it is a ritual which is done in front of the fire in the Buddhist system. Buddhist period in education, Indian education roughly starts from 600 BC and lasts for about 1200 years till 1600 AD. During Vedic period of education was mostly individualistic effort, whereas during Buddhist period institutional organization is one of the chief characteristics of education. Buddhist education was based on the teaching of Gautama Buddha. These teachings were so important that they remained a source of inspiration for individual as well as the social development in India. The influence of Buddhist teachings cannot be undermined even during later period. Talking about the aims of education, the first important aim of education during Buddhist period is physical development. According to Buddha, good health helps a man to escape from bodily sufferings, so he gave importance for physical development. Development of knowledge is to achieve nirvana. They emphasized on the development of true knowledge. In Buddhist period, the practical knowledge of the material world and of the Four Noble Truths were regarded as a true knowledge. Education of social behavior. Buddhist religion is a supporter of human welfare. This is the reason that too much emphasis was placed upon the compassion and kindness. Preservation and development of human culture. Buddhist religion emphasizes the preservation of human culture as a whole. For that, they encourage the study of other religions, cultures, and philosophies. Character formation. They give too much importance of self-control, compassion, and the kindness that those who practice these ideals possess good character. Vocational development to improve the sufferings of hunger. Education of art and skills and vocation is necessary. Education of a Buddhist religion, students were trained in the Eightfold Path, namely right view, right resolve, right occupation, right speech, right behavior, right effort, right contemplation, right meditation to achieve salvation. Talking about the Four Noble Truths of a Buddhist period, so the Buddha was primarily an ethical teacher and reformer, not a metaphysician. The message of his enlightenment points to man the way of life that leads beyond suffering. The Four Noble Truths are: life is suffering, desires are the cause of suffering, which is called Khasmudya. Third is suffering can be removed, cessation of suffering, the Dukhanvoda. After that, he gives a way that leading to the cessation of suffering is Eightfold Path. Wise again, review: right view, right resolve, right occupation, right speech, right behavior, right effort, right contemplation, right meditation to achieve salvation. Talking about the Pabbajja ceremony, Pabbajja was an accepted ceremony of the Buddhist monasteries. Pabbajja means going out. According to this ceremony, the students, after being admitted to the monastery, had to renounce all his worldly and family relationships. An individual belonging to any caste could be admitted to a monastery, and after being admitted, he did not belong to any caste. For Pabbajja ceremony, the individual had to get his head fully shaved and put on yellow clothes. In this shape, he was presented before the presiding bhikshu. On presentation, this individual would pray for the admission to the monastery. On his prayer, the head bhikshu would administer three basic advices. I take refuge with Buddha, I take refuge with religion, I take refuge with the order. The aspirant for admission used to pronounce these advices very distinctly. Then this admission was permitted. On being admitted, the individual was called a Sharman. Talking about the Apsampada ceremony, After Pabaja ceremony, the Buddhist monk had to undergo the Sampada ceremony. This ceremony was different from Pabaja ceremony. It was after receiving education for 12 years. Then it is at the age of 20 years. Apsampada ceremony was performed. The shaman has to present himself in front of before all the monks of the monastery. One could be admitted for this ceremony only when the majority of monks voted in favor of the same. After this ceremony, the shaman was regarded a full-fledged member of the monastery. On this occasion, all his worldly and family relationships ended. Talking about the curriculum of education, in Buddhist education, primary, higher and bhikshu education were organized in maths and vihars, and as they were under the control of Buddhist sanghas. Curriculum of primary education, duration of primary education was 6 years. Reading, writing, 5 different sciences namely morphology, astronomy, medicine, logic and spirituality were taught. Curriculum of higher education, during of higher education was generally of 12 years. During this period, a general knowledge of grammar, religion, astrology, Ayurveda and philosophy was imparted to students. Special education included Pali, Prakrit and Sanskrit languages along with their grammar and literature, and such subjects as astrophysics, cosmology, jurisprudence, political science, economics, arts, seculars, vocations, architecture, Buddhism, Jainism, Vedic religions, theology, logic, etc. Talking about curriculum of bhikshu education, during of bhikshu education was 8 years, but those bhikshu who entered to acquire higher knowledge in Buddhist religion and philosophy could continue their education further. Both worldly and religious educationists are concerned initially imparted by the higher level of specialization in any kind of field may be taken. Worldly curriculum, reading, writing, mathematics, arts, seculars and vocational education. Religious curriculum like as general studies, Buddhist, Jain and Vedic religion were imparted. For the bhikshu education, they had to study Buddhist literature namely Tripitaka, Sutta, Vinaya and Abhidhamma Pitaka. Talking about the methods of teaching, Buddhist education aimed at purity of character. Like Vedic education, it was training for moral character rather than psychological development of the students. One has to attain the stage of Bodhisattva. Mental and moral development was emphasized, following where the methods. Verbal education through the art of writing had been well developed up to the Buddhist period, yet due to the shortage and no availability of writing materials, verbal education was prevalent as it was in Vedic age. The teacher used to give lessons to the novices who learned them by heart. The teacher used to put questions on the learning the lesson by heart. Discussion in order to win a discussion or Shastratha, to impress the general public. It was necessary to improve the power of discussion. It also needed to satisfy the critics and opposing groups and establish one's own cult. Thus, rules were formed for discussion. Prominence of logic. The importance of discussion encouraged the logic in the Buddhist period. Controversial matters could not be decided without a logical argument. Logic was also useful in the development of mental power and knowledge. Taurus, the main of the Buddhist monks was to propagate Buddhism. Hence, some Acharyas like Viputta, Mahayagalva, Niruddha, Rahula, etc. give the importance to Taurus for educating people. Conferences were arranged on every full moon and first day of the month in the Buddhist sanghas. The monks of different sanghas assembled and put forward their doubts freely. The attendance of every monk was compulsory in such conference. Meditation in solitude. Buddhist monks were more interested in isolated spiritual meditation in lonely forests and caves. Only those monks were considered fit for lonely meditation who had fully renounced the worldly attraction and had spent enough time in the sanghas and had gained the efficiency for solitary meditations. About the assembly of learned people and the nature of mass education during Buddhist period. On the beginning and the close of every month, learned people used to assemble together. This type of assembly together was placed in very important role in Buddhist education. The purpose of this assembly was to maintain the moral standards of all the monks, because the total education was based on morality. So it was compulsory for all the monks to be present in this assembly, so much as so that even ill monks used to try to attend in anyhow. Due to the illness, it was not possible for monk to come. Then assembly was held near his residence. This assembly was quite democratic, and it has immense moral impact on all concerned. The nature of mass education: monasteries or Buddha vihars were the chief centers of learning, and only the Buddhist monks could be admitted to them for education. Thus, there was no planned arrangement for the mass education as such during the period. It is from this position it would be wrong to construe that the Buddhist monks were unkindful of the education of the people in general, so that at the time of begging alms, the monks used to remove the religious doubts of the people through their interesting conversations and short and all lectures. Thus, the people in general received the moral and religious education from the monks. Talking about the women education and vocation education during Buddhist period. Women education during the Buddhist period was at its lowest ebb, as the women folk was despised in the sense that the Lord Buddha has regarded them as a source of all evils. So he had advised during his regarded them as a source of all evils. So he had advised during his lifetime not to admit women in monasteries. But after some time, due to the insistence of a dear pupil Anand, Buddha has permitted about 500 women along with his stepmother for admission in vihars with many restrictions and reservations. Vocation education was not ignored during the Buddhist period of education. The monks of Vihar were taught spinning, weaving, and swinging in order that they met their clothing recruitments. They were taught architecture as well as education in architecture, enabled them to provide and build up a new vihars or to repair the old ones. Similarly, the householders following Buddhism but living outside vihar were given training in different type of and also earn their livelihood. Talking about the role of teacher in Buddhist education. Buddhist philosophy admits the possible of attaining peace here and now. It starts with the pessimistic note. Teacher therefore need to have any cry of despair. Bhikshus were the teacher. Buddhist vihar as or monasteries have their methods of imitation and training for the apprentices. The preceptor must give his disciple all the possible intellectual and spiritual help and guidance. There was mutual esteem between teacher and the pupil. Their relations were like father and son. The teacher was regarded as a spiritual father or intellectual father of the student. During a Buddhist period, the place of teacher in the scheme of education was very important. There were the categories of teachers. Acharyas and Dhyayas are the heads of the genus category. According to the Sutras literature, Acharya may admit according to his unfettered discretion number of pupils who would have to live with him at his house for a minimum period of 12 years. He would not accept any fees from the pupils under this instruction. The progress shown by pupil was the only factor that determined the continuance of his apprenticeship. Student in Buddhist system of education. The Buddhist system of education, like the Brahmanical, enjoins upon the pupil the duty of serving this preceptor as a part of education. Pupils is to rise early in the morning from the bed and give his teacher teeth cleanser and water to rinse his mouth with. Then preparing a seat for him, serve him rice milk and rinse his mouth with insert jug. And after his drinking it, he wash his vessel and sweep the place. Afterwards, he is to equip him for his begging ground and giving him fresh undergarments, girdle to upper garments, and his alms bowl rinsed and filled with the water, and then it is to dress and equip himself. Similarly, if he wants to accompany his teacher but must not walk too far from or near, wants to accompany his teacher but must not walk too far from or near wants to accompany his teacher must walk too far from or near him. He is not to interrupt his teacher in speaking even if he makes any mistake. The present education experiment like basic education, Vishwa Bharati, Arvindo Ashram, Gurukul Kangri and Banasthali, Vidyapith, etc. These are the glaring examples of our ancient system of education in our country. In the words of S.K. Mukherjee, they were started with the object of reviving the ancient institution of Brahmacharya, of revitalizing ancient Indian philosophy and literature, and of producing good citizens and preachers of Vedic education, also Vedic religion. While delivering his address in the Dadabhai Nauroji lecture series, L.S. Mudaliar, a renowned Indian educationalist, he said that, "Let our young Indian realize the heritage that is there. May the young generation imbibe the true spirit of India and follow it in all their endeavors." I hope you find this video informative. Thanks for watching. Give thumbs up.